There's something that you've wanted to start or something you've wanted to try for a while. For whatever reason, you've been putting it off. You're coming up with all these different excuses in your head as to why you can't do it, as to why you shouldn't do it. And every single reason you could possibly think of is in one way or another rooted in fear. You're scared. You might be scared of what might happen to your ego if you fail. You might be scared of how other people might perceive you if you fail. You might be scared of, how long it might take for you to fail and over again until you finally succeed. But the thing you have to understand is that no matter what that thing is, it is not as scary as you think it is. I promise. Starting something is the hardest part of everything you might try or everything you might do. It is the biggest hurdle that you have to jump over before anything else even matters. And the thing you might want to start, it could be literally anything. It could be a new sport. It could be a business. It could be even starting a social media account. If you're starting a business, you might be scared of just what people might think or what you might think of yourself if it doesn't go super smooth right off the jump. If it's a new sport, you might be scared of what people might think of you or what the coaches might think of you if you were not as good as everybody else. If it's a social media account, you might be scared of what might happen if old friends or family see you and make fun of you and laugh at you or something. This little thing alone, the fear of starting something, has probably taken at least a year off of the progress that I could have made. This YouTube channel, for example, I have known that I've wanted to start this for a very long time, but every single time I began to realize that again, I would come up with all these different reasons as to why I couldn't do it or why I shouldn't even do it. Like I don't have a camera, I don't have this, I don't have that, I'm not a good speaker. What if my friends and family see it and they laugh or they think it's lame? All that did was just delay the inevitable because I knew deep down that I wanted to start this. I knew that I would always start it, but just the fear of what might happen once you actually start it held me back forever. And even though I consider myself to be a very mentally strong person, this even has happened recently with boxing. I've known for a while that I wanted to start boxing. I knew that I wanted to go join a boxing gym. But again, I kept finding reasons for why joining a boxing gym or starting to get involved in this sport was just like not for me, I guess. And even when I got there, even when I started, training a lot and, my first time sparring, I would come up with reasons as for why I wasn't ready. I would watch people in the ring sparring and be scared of, what if I get in there and just get absolutely pummeled? Oh my gosh, this guy punches so hard. I don't want to get in with him. I'm going to get tired. I'm going to stop. And I wish I could tell myself this over and over and over again, because the moment I got in there for the first time, I realized that it was not scary. I mean, sure, it was a little bit scary because you're getting in there, you're one-on-one with another man and you're fighting. But this guy that I was scared of getting in with, I was like, he punches super hard. I don't want to get in with him, but I get in there and it's like these punches are not nearly as hard or as fast as I thought they were. For whatever reason, on the outside looking in, it seems scary. It seemed a lot scarier than it actually was. And this is so true for so many different things. When you're on the outside looking in, you haven't actually experienced it or started it yet. Of course, you're going to think it's a lot harder, a lot scarier than it actually is. Of course, failing is going to make you scared. Of course, the opinions of other people might make you scared, but should it? Is it hard not to care about what might happen if you fail? Maybe. Is it hard not to care about what other people might think of you? Maybe. But at a certain point, once you just get past the initial barrier of fear and just decide to make that jump, you realize that you're probably going to fail a lot. It's probably going to take a long time for you to succeed at this thing. And people are probably going to talk about you in ways that you don't like, whether it's a sport or it's a business or anything. You have to accept the fact that you are putting your own desires, your own ambitions over everything else. But the reason this is so detrimental for so many people is because the fear of all of these different things is so deep that they will literally trick themselves into thinking that it's justified. They trick themselves into completely ignoring the thing they want to do. And most of the time, it's a result of being around people and adopting their beliefs and caring so much about their opinions when they just don't matter at all. If you really want to do what you say you want to do. There's absolutely no reason why you should let this guy's opinion, stop you from doing that, or even your family. Even if they don't believe that what you want to try is something you should do. If you truly believe, if you truly think and know, honestly, that you want to do this thing, then why are you letting anybody or anything stop you? I don't care if, you're going to parties a lot and you have all these people that you think are your friends, and they're going to call you lame for not going out every single night and not drinking every single night. And you don't want them to see you on social media or something and, send it in all the group chats and make fun of you. But why? What's going to happen when you dedicate yourself to this thing and you succeed? What then? They can't laugh at you for failing after that. You have to learn that in order to really understand what you want to do and who you want to become, you have to separate yourself from the crowd. You cannot be around all of these different people, around all these different events, and, just having everybody in your ear all the time talking about what you should do, what they like. You have to learn to be alone. You have to become your own best friend, because even if you don't actually know what you want to do, how could you possibly expect to know if all that you are hearing and all that you are thinking all the time is what other people are saying? You don't even know who you are. How could you possibly expect to accomplish everything you want to accomplish if you're suppressing these desires that you have? Because I know so many people who have big goals of being a professional athlete or a successful entrepreneur, but they're around people that push these dreams back down. Because in a time with all this social media and all these different events that you could possibly go to, if you're in college or you're in high school and you have all these people that, want to drink and want to do all this stuff, that's fine. But until you can learn to listen to yourself over everybody else and learn to make that initial jump and just crush past that barrier of fear that everybody in the world is going to experience at some point if they want to do anything at all. Until you can do that, you're not going to make any progress at all. You can think that you want to be a YouTuber. Oh, I'm going to make it somehow, some way. But what are you actually doing to move towards that goal that you have? Even in high school, I was like, okay, I know I'm going to be successful one day. I'm going to do something that is absolutely amazing. And I always had that belief inside of me, but I suppressed it because of what everybody else around me was doing. But until I actually decided to start moving towards that goal, nothing happened. That's what you have to understand. You can have all these different dreams and goals and things that you want to do, but until you actually decide to start taking action towards them, it sounds cliche, but understanding this will save you years. And I mean years. So even if you don't know what exactly you want, figure out exactly what you don't want. Think of the worst life you could possibly be living. Think of the life that you are going to be living if you keep going down the path you are currently on. What does that look like in 10 years? What do you feel like? What are you doing for a living? What does your spouse look like? Where are you living? I mean, seriously, get a notebook, write it down, get really specific. And then once you can do that, you have to understand that you need to sprint in the opposite direction. Find exactly what you don't want and then sprint in the opposite direction. If you do know what you want, do the same exact thing. Get a notebook, write down in insane detail where exactly you want to be in 10 years. What do you look like? How do you feel? Where are you living? What are you doing for a living? And then once you begin to flesh this out, you have to ask yourself, what am I actually doing right now to move towards that? And if it's nothing, then that has to change, because that's not just going to happen. Whatever you want to do with your life is not just going to happen because of nothing. Everybody that I know, everybody that I've seen who has achieved massive amounts of success has gone through the period where they don't know exactly what they're doing, but they're moving towards something, and that's all that matters. They might not see the progress that they're making, but they know what they're working towards. They're aiming towards something, and they're taking the steps every single day to get there. Write down your dream life that you see yourself living in 10 years. And every single day, that needs to be in the back of your mind. Because if you're not aiming at anything, you're going to just go wherever life takes you. It's like, imagine somebody floating on a river versus somebody who is sailing towards a destination. The person who is just floating on the river, letting life take them wherever they want to go, wherever life wants them to go, they have no idea where they're going to end up. So their destination, their life is going to be decided for them. How scary is that? When I first realized this, that if I just do what, everyone says I should do, I just don't aim towards anything, I'm going to have a result that is picked for me. And then imagine a guy who is sailing and he is determined to reach this destination at any cost. He knows which directions he's going. It might take a while, it might take years maybe, but he is heading in the direction that he knows he needs to be heading in. And he's moving towards that place every single day. Do you think he's going to get there at some point? Because he will. It's inevitable. But what about the other guy who's floating down the river? Just it's like the little bag in the wind. Just you don't know where that is ever going to end up because that bag has no intention of going anywhere. It's just getting tossed around in the wind all the time, just hoping it ends up. It's not hoping anything, but you don't know where that bag is going to end up, and neither does the bag. But when you think about this life that you want to live, 10 years from now, you have to think about what beliefs you currently have that you don't need anymore. You cannot have beliefs that make you weaker. You cannot have beliefs that don't serve you. Every single thought, every single belief that you have is there as a result of your choosing or somebody else's. I just need you to understand that the fear of what might happen if you fail, or the fear of what people might think of you, it's so unimportant. It's not even funny. It's something so insignificant, something so stupid, which is the opinions of other people who don't even care about you, can delay you pursuing your goals, your dreams, your ambitions for years. And that is a trap that 99% of people fall into when they have something that they want to pursue. They let all these different beliefs, all these different excuses as for why they can't do it, hold them back for years. And sometimes it holds them back forever. How awful is that? All these other characters in this big ass game we're playing, what they say and what they think keep the main character, which is you, from moving in the direction that you need to move in. And that is when you start losing yourself. That is when you have nothing to live for, and you cannot go down that path. You need to separate yourself. You need to really figure out who you are and what you need to do and what you want to do. And once you figure this out, you have to minimize the time it takes from idea to action. And it sounds corny and cliche again, but if you have an idea and you wait 2 years to act on it, think about how much progress you could have made in those 2 years. I think about this all the time, literally all the time, because I started this YouTube channel like 4 months ago, and I've wanted to start it for almost 2 years now, maybe even more. And I always think about how much progress I actually could have made if I started it 2 years ago. Now that time is gone, and all I can do now is just do what I should have done 2 years ago. And that is just take action every single day, everything I can do to move towards that goal that I have. You're going to fail, probably a lot. But once you try for the first time, and once you see that first little bit of success, that ball that you're trying so hard to get rolling, I promise you, it will be so hard to stop. The hardest thing to do is push it off its starting point. I swear. You're going to try, you're going to fail, you're going to learn, and you're going to improve. And if you repeat this process over and over and over again with relentless, you just never quit. You can't lose. You have to understand that. I have 100 some subscribers right now, and I know for a fact that at some point I'm going to have at least 100,000. I know. It's already set in stone. I've determined that I'm going to achieve that, so I'm going to. That is the kind of attitude you need to have towards whatever you're trying to do. Nothing else matters. Nothing else, no other belief besides I'm going to do this because I want to do it. No other belief is acceptable. It's not as scary as you think it is. And even if it is, that fear you feel is worth it. Do it right now, or I'm going to come and find you.